Welcome everyone, or welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you, this is almost kind of a reshoot of how to crochet a granny square with a flower in the center. So this is the granny square that I used to create my wildflower blanket, which is a pattern I have coming very soon to my blog and my Etsy shop. But this is just the flower pattern, and I'm going to show you how to make the color changes. You could totally make the flower all in one color, or you could even make the whole square in one color, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the color changes, and it's pretty simple. But you're just going to need a few supplies, and you could totally just use whatever yarn you have on hand. I'm going to today be using worsted weight yarn, and this is just some from my scrap yarn basket that I've got. And you're going to want worsted weight because today we are going to be using a 5.5 millimeter I9 hook. And you'll also need a yarn needle for weaving in your ends and some good scissors for fastening off. And you're going to need, if you're going to do all the color changes, you're going to need at least 3 colors. If you're not, you could then do just 2 or 1 color. It's totally up to you. But go ahead and grab your supplies. The only things you're going to need to really understand how to crochet are the puff stitches and the single crochet stitch. And you're going to want to know how to make a magic ring. If you've never made one before, that's okay. I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to do a full tutorial on it. So, and I kind of do a little bit of a different method just to make sure it's nice and secure in the center, because nobody wants their granny squares falling apart. So you can go ahead and just follow along with me if you have not used the magic ring before, but I do recommend that you check out my tutorial first. Just it'll help you out to make sure you understand what's going on. So go ahead, and if you have never done any of those, go ahead and check out the tutorials. If you know how to do everything, go ahead and grab your supplies and we'll get started. Alrighty guys, so to get started, we are going to make a magic ring, and I'm going to make it a little bit different than traditionally. I'm going to actually wrap it twice first, and this will actually create a more sturdy knot, more secure knot, and then I'm going to cross it over like this. And I will go under the 2 strands and pull that 3rd one through. So it'll be like this. So you'll see there's 2 strands now for our magic ring. This just makes it more secure, and I have yet to have one of these magic rings ever come undone. If it ever happens, let me know, but I have yet to have a problem with that, whereas I have had problems with with the traditional method. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet 6 into the magic ring. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, you'll notice when you start to tighten this, one side will tighten and the other will stay loose. So this is where you find the side that's been tightened, and you actually pull it, and you'll notice if you're pulling the correct way. So if you pull up above, you're actually going to pull back on the one that you on the end, which is not what you want. You want to pull from the inside here, and that'll actually pull tight on the other loop, as you can see. So you pull it tight, and then you pull that yarn end, and there you go. So now that we have our 6, we're going to join it with a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 1, and now you're going to single crochet increase into each stitch, which is just 2 single crochets in every stitch. So we go 1, 2, and you'll end up with 12 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you're going to join with a slip stitch to the first one. Now, there are two ways that you can color change. You could totally just drop this and slip stitch with the new second yarn color. I am just going to actually do a slip stitch here, and I'm going to fasten off, and I'll show you how to reattach, so that way it can kind of make it a little more clean. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten off, and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so I went ahead and wove in my ends as well, just to make it a little cleaner for you guys. But because this piece is now completed, we can actually start anywhere around. So if you didn't want to start where you finished, that's totally fine, or you can either way, it really doesn't matter. But you can go ahead and attach your yarn. So also, you would not have to change colors here if you didn't want to. If you just wanted to continue, you could continue by just simply chaining one. We are going to go ahead and just attach with a slip stitch, and we're going to chain one, and we're going to puff stitch into that same stitch. So we're going to do yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over again, and pull through, and we're going to repeat that 3 more times. Or until you have 9 loops on the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through all of them. If you have trouble pulling through, I suggest that you loosen up your tension just a smidge, and you can pull up as you are creating your puff stitch, so that way it'll give you a little more room to be able to pull your hook through at the end. And then after you created your puff stitch, you're going to chain 1, and we're going to do the same steps in every single stitch all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and puff stitch again. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over again, pull up, and you're going to do that 3 more times. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook, and then yarn over and chain 1. And you're just going to complete that all the way around, and this is what's going to create your petals for your flower. So I'll go ahead and complete my puff stitches all the way around, and I'll be back to show you how we finish up the petals. Alright guys, so once you have completed all 12 puff stitches and all 12 chains, you're going to slip stitch into the very first puff stitch to join. Now, I did want to give you a little tip. If you notice that your petals are like caving in like this, curling in, I should say, it might be because you might have your chains too tight. You want to make sure that you're having a little bit looser of a chain in between each puff stitch, otherwise you can really see some curling. So if you tend to be a really tight crocheter, I know I am, so I really have to work on making sure that my chains don't get too tight on this flower. So once you've slip stitched, you can go ahead and fasten off, and I will show you how to create the granny square around our flower. Alright guys, so here is our flower. I went ahead and wove in the ends again just to make it easier for you guys to see everything. So there are two ways that we can start our granny square, and I have experimented with both ways, and I have not found that there is that much of a difference in how it looks really at all. So you're going to, either way, you're going to attach your yarn and chain 1. Now you can start off with a single crochet and then chain 2, and then you'll end up slip stitching at the end. I'm just going to go ahead and chain 3 here. This will create our first corner. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to skip the base of the chain, and you're going to single crochet into the next 6 stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that'll be your first side. And then you're going to chain 2. This will be our second corner. And you're going to single crochet 6 more stitches, or single crochet into the next 6 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to chain 2 again. Remember to keep those chains a little bit looser. And then you're going to go ahead and single crochet 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're going to chain 2 again. This is our final corner. And then we're going to single crochet 6. Now we're going to do the first 5 into stitches, and I'll show you how to do the very last one. It's a little bit different. So we're going to single crochet. Oh, make sure when you are doing this that you do not single crochet into the slip stitch that you made in the previous round. So in your petals, make sure you don't single crochet into the slip stitch, otherwise you'll get your count off. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to single crochet into that base chain. Okay. Then the final step will be to slip stitch into the chain 3 from the very beginning, and that will end that round. So this way you end up having 6, 6, 6, 6. It keeps the number of stitches per side a little easier to remember, I feel like, and it's a little simpler to start, and you don't have to think about where to place your final single crochet quite as much. But you could totally do it if you have watched the solid granny square tutorial. You can kind of see how I switched from the circle center to the square rounds, and you will be able to see a little clearer how to start off with a single crochet instead, if that is the way you choose to go. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and chain 3, and I'm going to show you how to continue. So we're going to single crochet once into this corner, that first corner, and then you're going to single crochet in each stitch across. Then you're going to single crochet once into the corner again. Then you're going to do your chain 2 for the corner space, and then you're going to turn, and you'll repeat those steps. So single crochet once at each corner after your chain 2, and single crochet into every stitch across. So you will have 8 per side or 32 all the way around, not including your chain 2s. So we are not going to single crochet into the slip stitch. We are going to single crochet into that the chain 3 space from the previous row. So we're going to, basically you're going to be single crocheting over the top of the base of your chain 3 from the very beginning. So make sure you pull it up even, finish your single crochet, and then you can slip stitch into that corner space, just like that. And the more rounds that you do, the more square it'll look. And the nice part about these squares that I've found is, especially if you join them together, they weigh enough that they just kind of will stretch each other out, and I have not found that blocking is necessary. So that's pretty awesome. We are going to go ahead and continue those same steps. So 1, 2, 3, and you're just going to continue adding a single crochet on either side in the chain spaces, and then doing a chain 2 for each corner, other than the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this until I have 14 per side, which should be about row 8. And I will show you how we're going to wrap this up. All right, guys, to wrap this up, we are going to go ahead and single crochet the very last time into the previous chain 2 space. We're going to then slip stitch into that corner, and then we are going to fasten off. And I just like to pull through. I find that that makes it nice and easy to then join with other granny squares. So go ahead, and once you weave in your ends, you are good to go. And like I said, there are so many ways that you could kind of alter this if you don't like this look. I just find it looks very, very similar to the other corners, so I haven't noticed a need to join any differently. But I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and I hope you enjoy it. So this will be the last wildflower that I needed for my wildflower blanket, and I will be showing you very, very soon how to crochet the join as you go method that I used for that blanket. I won't have a full tutorial for the blanket, as it would be way too long and way too difficult to film correctly, but I'll have all the tutorials for you, and the pattern will be up on my blog very soon. So make sure you follow along, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can get updates. So go ahead and let me know how you're going to use this. I would love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.